Hey everyone, this is Daniel here. I'm just coming at you with an unboxing actually, and it's gonna be like an unboxing and a first impression. This is really I just got this today from DPX Gear. I'm pretty familiar with their knives. I've had their DPX HEST folder, their 2.0, and I think recently they came out with a 3.0 with some upgrades and some just some, tweaks that they did to make the knife even better. So I have just in the spirit of like the hard use, a folder, I have the ZT O3, what is this? This is the 0308. And I got one of my favorite ZT knives is the 0562 Thai. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that aside. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Yeah, this is brand new. I just got this, so it's gonna be a really like I said, an unboxing and a first impressions. It's not a review. It's not a full-on review. So just please take it for what it is. I'm just gonna make sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this aside. I'm really excited about this knife. Just because I know DPX Gear has been around for a while, but I noticed that when I was like looking up, trying to look up videos on YouTube, a lot of the reviews, a lot of the videos were, pretty old, and so I figured I'm gonna go ahead and make an unboxing video because I didn't see any videos for this specific one. This is the DPX HEST Folder Classic Decade. So I just want to point out a couple things. So this is the Classic, which means the platform is based on the previous version. I believe is a 2.0. But it's also a decade, which means that they've made a few upgrades to really celebrate, I believe it's their 10-year anniversary, and as such, it's called a decade. I believe this is a limited run, and so let me go ahead and open this up. This is a typical, DPX Gears kind of packaging, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll kind of run through, some of the, I guess, the changes that they've made. Okay. First things first is they've provided an updated skull tool, which is really cool to have, And I think the difference between this skull tool and the previous iteration is that the top portion of it's kind of like a flathead screwdriver type deal, and then I think everything else is pretty much the same. This is really cool. I think it's just a really cool gizmo to have, and this also comes with this little bit thing. I could replace. I think it actually comes installed with the glass breaker, but if you don't want the glass breaker, you could actually remove this and put this little stopper. Okay, and this just the nostril is like the holders. It looks like there's kind of like this chisel part. There's like this grip area, some chisel area, and some little It's a really cool doodad. It's actually a pretty thick piece too, so it's got some really nice, heft to it. Not like super heavy at all, but it feels really cool. I like that. I'll put that aside. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open up the knife. Yeah, there's nothing really else in the packaging. I'll go ahead and move that aside. Open this bad boy up. Ooh, sorry for bumping my camera. Make sure, yeah, sorry about that, guys. So this is the DPX Gear HEST Folder. Classic Decade. So you'll notice right off, if you're familiar with this folder, it's been around for a while, but you'll notice that there's been a few upgrades, So for example, they got rid of that roto-block, right? So in their classic folders, they got, that little roto-block. But I think people were like complaining that, the roto-block would engage when they didn't want it to engage and whatnot. So I don't know if that was the reason why they got rid of it. Or it's because they actually, another kind of an upgrade is they actually installed a lock bar steel interface. So I don't know if that's, if that kind of resolved that issue or whatnot, but they got rid of that roto-block, which I'm cool with that. I really like that. It gives it like a cleaner kind of profile, a little more simple. One less thing to be worried about, right? And like I just mentioned, they did now put in a lock bar like steel insert, which I think is really cool. I think a lot of folder nowadays kind of, they've really incorporated this technology just because it, increases like the wearability of the lock face. And I think just overall it's just easy to replace that one little piece and having to replace this whole side of the lock bar once it wears all the way through, which I don't really see that happening considering, I mean, these are really designed to last for a long while. Another really obvious change is this is a very limited run. This is a micarta. So I believe it comes, the standard comes with like a G10. I've seen like a pink G10. I've seen black G10. I've seen like the standard, which is like an olive green G10. But this actually comes in the micarta, which I think is super sweet. And just feeling it, it has a really nice texture to it. It's not overly aggressive at all, but it does have like that very earthy feel to it, which I really, really like. And it's actually a really thick slab of micarta. As you can see here, I believe this is an aluminum backspacer. And I don't know if that's like the number of, I don't know, maybe it's like the 36th one that they've made. I don't know how many they're making. On their website, they just said that's a very limited run. So I don't know if it's 100 or 1,000, you know what I'm saying? I really like this pocket clip. I believe on their kind of standard version, there's the word HEST kind of embossed on the clip, but I really like the skull logo that they have on there. I think it's really cool. It's really fun. It's really distinctive. I really like that. And then you also have that glass breaker, which, like I mentioned, you could replace with this stub if you want to, this guy right here. But I like that glass breaker. And actually it's not like painful. It's actually, yeah, it's very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. Let me see if there's any other upgrades. No, I'll go ahead and open it because I want to show you one other upgrade that they made is actually this blade steel. And you notice right there, it says M390, which I love. I love M390. So this is a rather hefty, very thick M390, which is pretty awesome. And, just like I said, so it's M390 blade. I believe the standard is like the D2 or they use Nylox, I believe. They use a Schleipner steel before. I've had actually two folders of this iteration. I mean the 2.0. And it was the mil-spec edition. So it came with, the first one I got was like the Schleipner steel. And then I think they kind of changed it over to Nylox. But the reason why I don't have those folders anymore is because the first folder I got, I was getting like that the lock slip issue, and it was kind of rattly. And so I traded it or I sold it off. And then I got another mil-spec, same thing, but in the Nylox version. And then that thing had like crazy like lock stick where I really had to pry it open every single time. So I ended up kind of trading that away also. But I just really like the design of this knife. I love like the profile. I love how it's very comfortable in the hand. And I just love kind of like the profile of this knife overall. And so when I saw this version come out, I was like, you know what? I really like it. I want it. I love micarta. I love M390. I love how they, kind of cleaned up this, this titanium slab by getting rid of that roto-block and then, installing that lock bar, that steel insert. I just love how it's so clean, and so yeah, I got it, and my first impression is it's really awesome. I love it. I do want to talk just a little bit about the company itself. I do, just I really do love what they're about in terms of just a sense of adventure. Like the guy who designed and came up with this knife and other knives in the DPX Gear line is if you know anything about him, Robert Young Pelton, I believe that's his name. He was a marketing guy for a while, and then he became a journalist and then a venturer, and then so he'd go to like all the kind of like the conflict kind of war zones, all the hot spots around the world, and really just seek to kind of tell the story of what was going on in that region, in those communities. And really like his experience kind of like traveling the world and experiencing just all these different communities and people groups really just informed him when he was designing these knives. And I just really like that, like it just kind of came from his own personal experience. Now I understand some people might be turned off by like by their messaging or their marketing and whatnot. And that's, I totally respect that. But for me, I just really kind of like resonated with it. Just that sense of adventure, that sense of just, exploration of going out there, going kind of beyond, your comfort zone, you know what I mean? And I think in this day and age, like because we have the internet and social media, it's really easy to kind of just stay at home and kind of just, explore from far off, you know what I'm saying? Explore from your sofa rather than really just going out there and just experiencing life. And I'm a big advocate of like travel and how travel and being in like different cultures and environments really enriches your life. I recently started like an outdoor adventure company where we take people out camping, hiking, and really like to help people appreciate and be inspired by the outdoors. And so maybe that's why I kind of resonate with the the vision or the kind of the mission statement of this company. But overall, like as a knife, I really, really like it. It's really light. So yeah, this is just my first impressions. I'm gonna do also like a full-on review as I kind of carry it and use it and get a little bit more better understanding of the knife as an everyday carry. But just as a first impressions, I'm loving it. I feel like it really fits the bill. It came really sharp. It's really comfortable in hand, and maybe I'll just do a quick size comparison. This is the 0562. I'm gonna try to kind of line it up. It's a little bit smaller than the 0562. And then let me pull up the 0308. Yeah, it's dwarfed by the 0308 for sure. So I think it really hits that sweet spot between like the 0308 and 0562. I think it's actually maybe it'd be like this. I know it's a little hard to tell because of the angle of my camera, but it's ever so slightly smaller than the 0562 for sure. Let me check the lockup. The lockup is super solid, no lock stick like I've had before. And yeah, I think they made a really good decision by moving over to that lock bar steel insert. So no lock stick at all. Action is super smooth. I believe this is running on phosphor bronze washers, and I really like that. I almost kind of prefer the kind of the glassy that smoothness that is deliberate. That's really characteristic of these bronze washers versus like, you got like the bearings, which I also love too. I think it's very fidgety. It's awesome. It's very satisfying. But I think in terms of like just that deliberate, just smooth action, you can't beat that phosphor bronze washers for sure. But yeah, overall, fantastic. I'm loving it. I believe they were still available to buy over at DPX Gear's website. I've also seen it, I believe, I forgot. I saw it in another knife retailer for sure. But yeah, these are limited. So if you are hankering to grab one of these, I'd say get it sooner rather than later. Like I said, I think this is like this is like the perfect version of this folder, if I can say so. Um, yeah, this is awesome. This is really, really awesome. Um, I mean, it feels very light in the hand, but I mean the blaze stock is so thick. So I would say it's probably not like it's not gonna slice as well as like maybe this guy. Let me just give you a comparison. Yeah, it might be hard to tell, but yeah, that's kind of like the blade compare the stock comparison. Let me see if I could compare it to the 0308. Yeah, even against the 0308 man, that blaze stock is like hefty for sure. But I like that. I like that. I think if you're gonna be buying this folder, you're gonna be getting into that thick blaze stock. But yeah, I really recommend this knife. If you've ever been curious about the HEST folder, maybe you've never gotten one before and you had your reservations because of different issues that's been shared on the forums or whatnot, I feel like this knife solved it all almost. Essentially, I think one way that they could make this knife like perfect if they did a hollow grind on that. That would seriously make it perfect. But as it stands right now, this is a fantastic knife for sure. Yeah. So I love that profile, man. That is so sick. Yeah. Anyways, you guys, great knife. I'll go ahead and do a full on review as I carry this a little bit longer and I cut with it and all that fun jazz. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And like I said, as of the recording of this video, which is November 29th at 9:30 or 9:27 p.m., it was available on their website. But I don't know for how much longer. So go get yourself one if you can, for sure. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm just going to give you a 360 of this knife. Yeah, this is a very good looking knife, if I could say so. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Lion steel, made in Italy. Yeah. Anyways, you guys have a great night and, happy Thanksgiving for all of us who, we had to go through that through the pandemic, but there is still so many things to be thankful for. But happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.